The political landscape for the 2024 election season has changed significantly just over the past few weeks. The Republican ticket for a president is set, but in a surprise move, the Democratic ticket changed with the removal of incumbent President Joe Biden. Memphis Flyer senior editor Jackson Baker and independent journalist Chris Davis both traveled to the Republican National Convention, and they're here this morning to share some insight on this race. Whoa, what a ride we are on.
It's a ride now. It wasn't much of a ride theoretically until President Biden dropped out. Now it's an even Steven race. It's going to be gangbusters from this point on.
And so you two co-write together, or on this one?
We do conventions every 4 years.
Oh,
this is our 20th anniversary of covering presidential elections together. Yeah, we started in 2004 in Manhattan.
Wow. Have you ever seen in your time an election that's taken this many turns and tosses?
Starting with the debate, that was a huge turn. Then the assassination attempt, and finally the president dropping out and Kamala Harris coming out of nowhere to be, neck and neck with Donald Trump. I think this is really unique. Yeah.
Okay, so talk to us about just how everything has changed. Let's dig in. So, I mean, we had the assassination attempt. We had a switching of who is going to be running for the presidential seat. Can you just explain what that was like coming off the heels of the convention?
Well, I think for starters, is that the convention was all geared towards an election where former President Donald Trump was running against Joe Biden. And so, they've got a whole lot of plans that are aimed, at defeating Joe Biden. They've been making commercials, they've been doing, and suddenly they have a whole week that's all dedicated to getting their message together and getting, everyone on the same page and telling the same story. And then the story completely changes.
All conventions are coronations. There was a time when conventions actually were competitive, that one candidate would compete against another for the votes of delegates. That time is long gone. They're all coronations now. But the Republican convention we just went through was very much a super coronation. There was never any doubt as to, the only doubt was who was going to be the vice presidential candidate. And Trump made a decision. He's already in trouble with that decision.
Oh, you're talking about the cat lady stuff?
The cat lady, yeah.
Oh goodness. Okay, let's. Okay, since you touched on that, let's talk about what you think. Because I know we need to talk about the convention, but what do you guys think of the cat lady comment? And can you explain it to people?
I think it was an attempt by J.D. Vance to be witty, to make his points. He does have a tendency to make his points with a little flair, sometimes too much for his own good, and that was a case in point. He actually referred to Pete Buttigieg as a cat lady. I mean, he had a trio of cat ladies. Who were they, Chris?
It was Buttigieg. It was Harris. It was, I don't remember the.
But anyhow.
Well, he was basically saying that
if you don't have children,
you have no direct stake in the country.
And that's not the first time he said things like that. He's also even implied that maybe that you shouldn't have as much political clout if you don't have children. And I'm not sure if he was like, I don't know how your vote counts differently if you don't have children.
But he actually proposed that if you had children, you would get more votes than childless people,
right.
Which is really controversial. I think he's in trouble. We'll see. He may not last a week, really.
He was something of a media creation because, after Trump won in 2016, everyone was trying to explain it. And so much was put on particularly the white rural vote, and he became the rural whisperer, the person who was trying to explain rural voices.
Hillbilly elegy, yeah.
To America. Mm-hmm. But if you actually dig into a lot of that, it's not as sympathetic as you would think, just based on the way it was received and the way people talk about it. It's very much, people in Appalachia are lazy, and I mean this
is what he was saying. I mean,
it's like the cat lady comment isn't really anything new. It just kind of revealed a lot of stuff that was already there.
Well, let's talk about the convention and what you think the impact has been for the Republican Party.
Well, certainly the convention was very smoothly run, very well managed. Everything was on the tee until the very last moment of that convention when former President Trump went on seemingly forever. I mean, there were a lot of people restless in that convention, and I'm sure there were people restless at home waiting for him to finish. But basically, he had a convention that launched him to what would appear to be a successful run. That all changed when President Biden dropped out, and he suddenly realized he was up against a new rival who had phenomenal success raising money, phenomenal success garnering support among her Democratic colleagues, and we got a race on now.
And of course, the meaning of a convention has less to do with, how well it's managed, how much applause happens inside that arena, because of course, everyone who's already inside that arena, they're sort of already on the team. You want to get, America to hear your message. How does America respond to what's happening inside that arena? And it's really hard to gauge some of that. We're starting to get some polling, but like as far as ratings go, as far as people watching the convention this year, they were. I think opening night was 25% down from 2016. And of course, 2020 was a lower year because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So I think there were 25 million who watched the final night, and that may have been the high water mark. But overall, the convention's viewership was down even compared to the 2020.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that people regarded not only the results of that convention to be open and shut, but the race itself, because President Biden was suffering in the polls. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so we are going to be checking back in with you after the Democratic National Convention, but you have put out an article.
Yes.
And so we can check out just all of your insights from being there on the floor. And did you mention how you could barely make your way home? No, but yeah.
Oh, my heavens.
Yes. I was stuck in the Atlanta airport. He was stuck in Houston because we were caught in all of that, the whole global travel meltdown. Yeah.
We barely got the articles written. They're one by him, one by me. Because of that, because there was no place when you're walking around and no place to sit down in an airport for 2 days and can't sleep. It's not your best creative condition.
All right. Well, we look forward to checking this out. Thank you both for stopping by and giving us your insights, not only on what happened at the convention, but also all the things that have happened since. So much.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, can't wait. Okay.